for others to contribute. There's no universal application of the law. Also, the court clarified between policy and implementation, but looks like the National Assembly and the executive have taken upon themselves the implementation role, which is supposed to be vested in the counties. Number 3, the Constitution requires access to housing. Affordable housing does not prescribe ownership of affordable housing. And all over the world, the state is always required to provide access, not ownership to housing. So where the Kenyan government is getting the impression that it can expand the Constitution or the Parliament, I don't know. Access cannot be read to mean ownership. So the entire act violates Article 43, Clause 1, Clause B, upon which it purports to be anchored. It's also an arbitrary denial of arbitrary deprivation of property from the salaried employees to demand that they should part with salaries in a forcible fund. It's a mechanism of forcing people into associations contrary to the Constitution. This thing is unconstitutional, and it will remain unconstitutional whatever color it takes, whatever shape it takes, whatever test it takes. It's unconstitutional. And finally, it's most unfortunate that we are debating an important bill and members are given only 4 minutes. It is not possible to give your ideas to ventilate this bill in 4 minutes. If we are extending the time to a point when we are doing that, why are we giving ourselves 4 minutes? Why are we muscling? Why are we gagging people who would like to ventilate the bill? So I would like that to go on record that it was a wrong thing to do, to gag members by limiting the time by which they can debate. And I also support Senator for Isiolo, for Garissa, who said that the bill violates the principles of Islamic religion, which are specifically exempted under the Constitution when making bills. Thank you very much.
Senator Gloria Uroba.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to proudly support the affordable housing, Mr. Speaker, and not just because it creates jobs for the youth. Not just because it creates jobs, Mr. Speaker. I want to support this because it is what Kenya needs, Mr. Speaker. And by the way, we need to be alive to the fact that change is inevitable. Yes. Senators from the opposition need to understand that an election was won based on promises that were given to Kenyans. One of the promises being affordable housing. Mr. Speaker, and I have even heard Senator Ledama try to explain how we should not do housing because ABCD. And when I was listening to him, I was wondering, these senior members of this house must understand the difference between social housing and affordable housing, Mr. Speaker. We are not talking about social housing. Whatever Senator Ledama was trying to talk about was social housing. And Mr. Speaker, when the Kenya Kwanza government is done with affordable housing successfully, then we are going to move now to deal with the issue of social housing, because even that is necessary. So, Mr. Speaker, as I support this affordable housing bill, I must say again and again and again, change is inevitable and development will be brought to Kenya by force, by fire. And if there is anybody who is going to ensure that this country moves to where it needs to go, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell every member in this house that it is His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, because he is the commander-in-chief. And I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, today being we are from the Women Caucus, Mr. Speaker. I can tell you that the men who are opposing this affordable housing, half the time they are not even at home. They do not understand the deplorable houses that they are living, all the women who they have children with out there, Mr. Speaker. As a woman who is here in this house, Mr. Speaker, We want to live in conditions that are befitting for us women. So we are tired of living in the slums, and we are tired of you people just sending your baby mamas left, right, and center and coming to the house to fight affordable housing. Mr. Speaker, the president has the interests of all women at heart, and this is why when I support this bill, I want to say that I'll be at the front of that list to ensure that women are being prioritized, those women in the slums, those women who do not have any form of dignified living, Mr. Speaker. So I support this bill, and I urge Senator Ladama to go and read the difference between social housing and affordable housing. Thank you.
Senator Okech Eddie.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for this time, and I think that I want to take this time to speak to the people who sent me to this house, and the great people of Migori. The people of Migori, I want to report to you that in the National Assembly, 2 MPs of Kenya Kwanza, just in this past weekend, went to their villages and chased KRA officials away, opposing a bill on taxation and finance bill that they so much championed for. And I'm telling you, the people of Migori, that I'm in a Senate today, that I can see the same trend of people standing to support what is wrong. And I can assure the people of Migori that I want to stand with you, telling you that the way the structure of this bill is, I cannot support it. More importantly, the way the debate around this bill is being rushed in this house, the way it is being forced in the throat of you, the people of Kenya today in this house. We are being given 4 minutes to be able to discuss this bill. We have been forced to extend the house without participating in the conversation about that particular motion, the people of Migori. I am telling you that this is why, even during Moi days, the repealing of Section 2A came about. We are going to the dictatorial times of Moi, and it's not only happening at the national level, it's also happening in the house that you send me to. And I can assure you that there are ways of dealing with this matter. I don't support this housing bill.
What is
and in the protest of how the speakers today ran this particular house towards this discussion, I am going to walk out of this house in protest. I'm going to walk out of this house in protest
the chair is
of how the chair has treated us in this house.
Senator Eddie, resume your seat. What's your point of intervention, Senator Abdul?
Mr. Speaker, sir, can the senator stop misleading this house and the public and tell him to substantiate on who exactly forced who?
Ruto forced us.
Where is Ruto here? Is Ruto in this house?
Senator Eddie.
If senators have decided that the debate is going to be 4 minutes and we're going to extend the house, who is forcing who? It's the senators who've decided.
Mr. Speaker, the president of this country, President William Ruto, where he sits, he knows that I've got nothing against him. But he believes in what I believe in, that as a president, he will come and go. We as politicians will come and go. And when all this thing is done, it is our children. It is our children who will be able to live with the consequences of bad laws that we are making. The person who is saying that tutawacha manyumba, Mr. Speaker, the person saying that tutawacha manyumba, Mr. Speaker, is somebody who is enjoying serious mortgage, is somebody who is enjoying serious mortgage, and he knows very well that this particular proposal that we are having here is people in Embu are staying in villages. The president is proposing that the houses are being made in Nairobi, not villages, where his people are living in thatched houses, where his people are living
Mr. Eddie, do you want to be informed?
Mr. Speaker, can you protect me? My time is
Do
still
you want
here.
to be informed?
Mr. Speaker, may you protect me?
Order, Senator
Mr.
Abbas.
Speaker.
Your time is up, Senator Eddie. You are protected, Senator Eddie, but your time, unfortunately, is up. Resume your seat. Resume your seat, Senator Eddie. Order, Senator Karungu. Order, please. Order, honorable members. Let us give an opportunity to members who've been given the time to speak. Senator Mundigi.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa ruhusa niweze kuchangia mambo ya kujenga manyumba, na ningetaka kusema kama kuna watu hawai kukataa mambo ya manyumba ni Senator Okechi na pia Senator Landama, kwa sababu mwaka wa 2005 nilikuwa huko Kisii, pahali inaitwa Gogo, pahali na Migori, pahali hakuna chochote. Kwa hivyo ningeomba kama serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, kitu ya kwanza ile kaunti ya Kisii nyumba ingeanza huko, kwa sababu hakuna tofauti sana kubwa sana ya Embu na Kisii. Na ninakumbuka vizuri mambo ya manyumba, watu 150 wameajiriwa, ni vijana wetu, ni wachana wetu, wengine ni watu wa kujenga, wengine ni watu wa stima, wengine ni wa kusafisha. Kwa hivyo saa hii hata hakuna ukora vijijini na kila kona zote. Kwa hiyo naunga mkono kaunti zote zile zinaendelea kujenga manyumba, kwa sababu kaunti nyingi najua saa hii mijengo inaendelea ni nyumba karibu 2000. Hiyo ingine naunga mkono kwa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza kwa ile kazi inafanya, na inaomba iendelee hivyo kwa kipindi ya miaka ile itakuwako miaka 5 na ingine miaka ile ingine miaka 10. Kwa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza itapitisha hiyo mambo ya kujenga manyumba iende katika sub county, ndio mambo ya economy iweze kupandika katika county zetu. Nataka kuambia Senate ya Kenya, wale watu wote wako hapa, watu wengi tumetembea, kama mimi nimeenda Colorado, nimeenda North Carolina, nimeenda Dubai. Ile mambo nimeona huko haikuanza saa hii, ilianza na mambo mengi. Kwa sababu nakumbuka hata ukienda kule mambo watu wanarimika mambo ya gari, vile mtu analipa kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni shilingi 100. Kule unalipa masaa 2 shilingi 200, na ikiisha hiyo masaa unaondoka. Kwa hivyo naomba serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, walio wengi na walio wachache, tuungane pamoja ndio tuweze kupitisha mambo ya kujenga manyumba, ndio tuweze kupandisha Kenya yetu juu ya economy recovery na kila mambo ingine. Kwa hivyo nataka kukosoa wale walio wachache, watuunge mkono serikali ya William Ruto na Rigathi Gachagua kwa hii kipindi ya miaka 5 na ingine miaka 5. Tutaendelea hivyo na tutawashinda, na mambo ya nyumba itakuwa inaonekana kila kona sote. Sio mambo ya manyumba peke yake, kuna mambo mengi inavaa serikali ya Kenya iweze kuangalia. Tumeona mambo ya fertilizer, mambo mingi tumeona. Kwa hivyo tuunge mkono serikali ya Kenya Kwanza. Asante. Sisi watu wa Embu County, nikiwa nimesimama hapa ni Embu County imesimama. Ni mimi Senator wa Embu County Alexander Munyimondigi, Deputy Party Leader Democratic Kenya Kwanza. Asante Bwana Speaker, naunga mkono.
Order members, order members, order honorable members. Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, nothing surprises me anymore these days. I have listened quietly in shock as a classmate of mine at the University of Nairobi Law School misleads the House on the provisions of the fourth schedule of the Constitution of this country that very clearly, Mr. Speaker, distinguishes between housing policy that is a national government and housing itself, which is a devolved function. Mr. Speaker, there will be passionate representations from our colleagues from the majority, but I have lived long enough to see in the space of less than 6 months people arguing as passionately as I can see my colleagues in the majority arguing for a bill in the National Assembly, the finance bill, only for them to turn around and realize that what they were arguing very passionately for was something that was against the interest of their own people. We in the minority have objected to this bill, and I want to go on record as objecting to this bill on principle, because we believe that housing is a devolved function, and as a senator sworn to protect devolution and the interest of their counties, I cannot in good faith support this particular bill. Mr. Speaker, in the fullness of time, I want to believe that one day reason will come to our country. But as it is right now, because we understand our position, as a minority, we know we are outnumbered in this House. As a whip, I can only guarantee 16 bills, 16 votes in support of devolution in this House. I know that I am in the minority. But what is heartbreaking, Honorable Speaker, is that a key tenet of democracy being that the minority must have their say. Even that, we are being denied by limitation of debate on such an important bill from the maximum 20 minutes to 4 minutes. Mr. Speaker, I would have come with all my notes and explanations as to why I oppose this particular bill. But the most important thing is that the government and the people in the majority have totally lost contact with the feelings and place of the ordinary Kenyans. One of the biggest objections to this particular bill is the actual levy. If you look at the ordinary people's payslips, Mr. Speaker, they can no longer be able to carry any more burden. People have been taxed to the bone, Mr. Speaker. So that even if you look at the payslips of these members of parliament here, many of them are going to be earning negative salaries if you impose this particular bill, this particular levy. And that is not to talk about or to mention people in the civil service, teachers, police officers, people who are earning very little money, Mr. Speaker. And the economy is in the doldrums. So when we come here, and because we know we have the numbers we're going to load or ramp the bill through, it is all fun and games for now. And of course, as a politician, I pray that one of these fine days, we will be in the position that you are now, but that at least for us, we know that we will use the power that we get for good and not to ram things through simply because we have the numbers. Mr. Speaker, in this House, if we are going to continue like this, then possibly there is no point of debating. We should behave the way the Speaker has behaved today, putting the question without bothering to hear the other side. Mr. Speaker, we know we don't have the votes to carry through these bills and these motions. Please allow us to speak on them. That is the key tenet of democracy. And I can say, without fear or favor, that today I'm embarrassed, Mr. Speaker, that you are my classmate at the law school in the University of Nairobi. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Rita Mulgor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also add my voice to those of my colleagues. I think up front, I would like to say that I very strongly support the housing motion because for those of us that have lived outside this country, we have enjoyed housing that are made and built and set up by governments using taxes of the citizens. I remember I was working as a librarian in a university and a foreign student, and whatever little money I got after working for 2 weeks, the system made sure that I paid tax, whether I liked or not, and whether I was a student or a full-time worker. And so we visit places and see wonderful housing setting, and people live in better houses, and we wish it happens in Kenya. And it cannot happen unless we go by the way of taxation and housing levy, the way the government has set. And in addition to living in better houses, in better settings, job opportunities are guaranteed, that people that have probably not been able to work and earn anything will now earn from these constructions that are going on. And they will be able to pay school fees for their children, and they will be able to make ends meet as a result of working in these constructions. And then secondly is the fact that there will be materials purchased in hardwares and many places, and even people that probably have trees and so on. My colleague Mungatana was talking about building houses that are not in flats, but or tall houses. So he will be busy providing poles and posts so that the elevation or elevated settings will be able to benefit from those trees and poles. And therefore, this will change the nation, this will change housing and also job opportunities. I support.
Senator Mogeni Eric.
Mr. Speaker, I want to go on record that I'm a very, very disappointed senator. Mr. Speaker, I combed through the court decision that nullified the housing bill. And I came here as a senator knowing that I'll get the benefit of getting 20 minutes so that we can reason together, Mr. Speaker. But instead, Mr. Speaker, you want to push things down our throat by even denying us the right to speak on behalf of the people of Nyamira who have elected us. This is not the democracy that we fought for. And we must suffer collective shame. All over the world, Mr. Speaker, a Senate, an upper house is a deliberative house. We don't mind you pushing through laws, but give us a right to at least go on record that we have said what we need to say as the minority side, Mr. Speaker. What am I going to say in 4 minutes, Mr. Speaker? This is the High Court decision I'm holding. What can I say in 4 minutes? Nothing, Mr. Speaker. It's really a shame. It's a shame. I'm carrying 600,000 votes from Nyamira, Mr. Speaker. And if you think that these people is popular with the people of Nyamira, it will hit you and you'll go to the ground. I saw Senator Kaluale on TV, Citizen, cheating the people of Malinya, Isuha, that the affordable housing is a scheme for them to save money. It's not, Mr. Speaker. It's not. Mr. Speaker, I want to
Senator
state...
There is a point of order by the Majority Leader. What is your point of order, Majority Leader?
While I could allow other senators to get away with certain things and insults that have been traded this evening, I don't think I can allow the senior counsel. He's an elder of the SDA Church. He's a senior counsel. He's a respected member of this house. He knows very well that you cannot have it on record that you accuse another colleague of cheating. That is unparliamentary, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can you request the senator of Nyamira to either withdraw and apologize or substantiate? There is no even substantiation because the word is unparliamentary. Cheating is an unparliamentary word, and he knows that, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mogeni, would you...
I withdraw the word misleading, cheating, and put misleading. Are you comfortable with that? Yes. And even,
proceed,
Mr.
Senator
Speaker,
Mogeni.
even the teachers of Kericho. I was in Kericho this week and I had tea in Kericho, Mr. Speaker. And they told me the teachers of Kericho don't want this thing called affordable housing. The teachers in Nyamira told me they don't want this thing called affordable housing, Mr. Speaker. My farmers in Nyamira don't want this thing called affordable housing. On Sunday, Mr. Speaker, I had dinner with the 2 Catholic priests. They told me the William Ruto, President William Ruto they are seeing is not the William Ruto they saw then, Mr. Speaker. The expectation of the poor Kenyans were that the houses will be built, Mr. Speaker, for the less fortunate in society, Mr. Speaker. Now you have come up with something that you are telling us Kenyans are going to buy. Which Kenyans? And the middle class in this country is earning 46,000 shillings. Already, Mr. Speaker, if you got, I've been sent a payslip as I was seated here by a teacher, earning 49, tax has taken everything, Mr. Speaker. For whom are you constructing these houses, Mr. Speaker? For whom? Section 2A was rushed on an afternoon on the floor of this parliament, Mr. Speaker. We had to revisit it. The country went through a lot of turmoil before it was deleted, Mr. Speaker.
I was in Libya in 2009. Nobody could dare question Gaddafi. I was there with 2 members of parliament. Gaddafi thought everything he said could be law. That's not the way you run a country, Mr. Speaker. You allow people to debate issues, allow us to put across our thoughts. Then we pass legislation that carry both Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. But if you continue this way, Mr. Speaker, we are on the wrong road.
Your time is up, Senator Mogeni. Senator Nderitu John Kinyua.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Bwana Spika, nataka kuunga mkono mswada huu wa bei nafuu. Bwana Spika, nilipokuja katika seneti hii, nilisimama pale Bwana Spika, nikasema ya kwamba nitailinda, nitaitetea na nataka kuongeza nitaitekeleza katiba. Bwana Spika, ukisoma katika kipengee 43 cha katiba kinasema ya kwamba wananchi wa Kenya wanapaswa kupewa nyumba ambazo ni zinawafaa. Bwana Spika, Bwana Spika, ni vizuri ijulikane.
What's your point of order, Senator Sifuna? Resume your seat, Senator Kinyua.
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for the Senator for Laikipia to mislead this House as to the contents of Article 43 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker? Because I have a copy of the Constitution that I swore to defend here, Mr. Speaker. It starts by isolating the key rights of the people, highest sustainable standard of health, freedom from hunger. Have you finished freedom from hunger before you tell us about housing? Mr. Speaker, clean, safe and water in adequate quantities. So, Mr. Speaker, for you to elevate housing over the food for the people of this country, safe housing, health, safe hospitals, then you are just lying to us, Mr. Speaker. He's misleading us. He's misleading the House as to the contents of the Constitution.
I believe, Senator Sifuna, you must have been listening. He was debating in Swahili, so maybe the language could have... No, resume your seat, Senator Sifuna.
Bwana Spika, mswada ulio mbele yangu, Bwana Spika, mswada ulio mbele yangu ni mambo kuhusu nyumba. Mambo ya njaa, Bwana Spika, tumeyashughulikia vilivyo, tumewapatia pembejeo, Bwana Spika, na yeye mwenyewe alipokuwa akizunguka na sufuria kichwani, sisi tushughulikia mambo ya wananchi wa Kenya, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, wacha nisije nikachanganywa na Bwana Spika, ni kazi ya serikali, Bwana Spika, kufanya kwamba kushughulikia wananchi wake, kuwapatia makazi, Bwana Spika. Na hivi sasa, Bwana Spika, vile ambavyo mswada huu tunapitisha, niposa Wakenya wengi, Bwana Spika, wanaoishi katika hali ya uchochole, Bwana Spika, waweze kupata angalau makao. Na sasa, Bwana Spika, mswada huu utashughulikia haya mambo kwa sababu, Bwana Spika, tulipokuwa tukitembea katika Jamhuri ya Kenya, tukifanya kampeni, tuliwaahidi wa Kenya mambo ya manyumba, Bwana Spika, na ya bei nafuu. Bwana Spika, siku ya leo haya ndiyo mambo tunayaangazia na tunapaswa kuyafanya. Jambo lingine, Bwana Spika, sio tu haya manyumba, Bwana Spika, yatakuwa yakiwa wanufaisha Wakenya wetu. Bwana Spika, mimi niko katika hii kamati ya barabara na mambo ya manyumba. Hii kamati, watu wa jua kali, watu wa matatu walikuja na wakaleta mapendekezo yao. Wakasema ya kwamba itawasaidia zaidi, Bwana Spika, kwa mambo ya kazi. Hao ndugu zetu ambao ni wahandisi, maseremara na waashi wataweza kupata kazi, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo, Bwana Spika, mswada huu utakuwa ukiangazia kuwasaidia Wakenya, Bwana Spika, na mambo ya kazi, mambo ya manyumba, Bwana Spika, ili hali ndio watu wetu waache kukaa hali duni, Bwana Spika. Lakini ninaposikiza ndugu zangu wanasheria hawa wawili, Bwana Spika, wakiongea, mimi napigwa na butoa kwa sababu, Bwana Spika, tunaongea kuhusu shida za manyumba, lakini kwa wao nyumba sio shida. Wao shida zao ni vile ambavyo hizi nyumba zinaweza, tuongei kuhusu zile nyumba ziko sehemu, Bwana Spika, maneno yananisumbua kwa sababu nyumba ambazo tunasema sisi, pengine hawa ndugu zangu hawajatembea mashinani waone shida wananchi walizonazo. Nimesikia wakisema ya kwamba nyumba hazijaanza kutengenezwa. Bwana Spika, juzi tulikuwa mji wa Nanyuki tunatengeneza hizi nyumba na tayari tumeanza kutengeneza na vijana wanashukuru na wanasema asanti.
Your time is up, Senator Kinyua. Senator Osotsi, Godfrey Atieno.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. From the onset, I want to declare that, Mr. Speaker, I'm opposed to this bill because this bill, as Senator Mtata